forward. Lighter, with more sensitivity, meeting the angler's desire for precise lure control. A new standard within the MAGNUMLITE series drives the evolution of fishing performance. VANFORD. Reels within the MAGNUMLITE series feature rotors constructed from lightweight materials. Rotation resistance is minimized through a balanced reduction of wall thickness that maintains sufficient durability. A lighter rotor requires less force to start reeling and provides benefit in situations where anglers need to move the handle quickly. It also enables anglers to control the handle more directly to influence lure action more precisely. VANFORD uses CI4 Plus in the rotor and body to achieve high sensitivity and light operation. CI4 Plus is a reinforced structure with high-strength carbon fiber mixed into resin. CI4 Plus exhibits higher rigidity under pressure when compared to general reinforced resin. Stratic, a reel at the heart of the Core Solid series, uses high durability resin for rotor construction and uses aluminum for the body. While VANFORD pursues sensitivity and lightness, Stratic pursues high rigidity and durability on the water. Comparing the weight of each parts of VANFORD and Stratic, there is a 19-gram weight difference in the rotors, which relates to lighter rotation. Additionally, there's also a 45-gram weight difference in the body, which promotes lightness and sensitivity. The conceptual difference is clearly shown. Now, we'll compare startup inertia between VANFORD with MGL rotor and Stratic equipped with a high durable resin rotor. In an experiment to compare handle rotation speed, time for handles to stop and distance of lure movement is analyzed when identical force is applied to both handles. VANFORD possesses both faster handle rotation and handle stopping speed, and the lure moved a shorter distance. Because start and stop reeling requires less power, anglers can control lures more directly and precisely while reeling. Stratic possesses slower handle rotation speed and longer rotation duration. The lure also moved further, showing the reel's power in retrieving with inertia. This is preferred when applying techniques that require constant reeling, which reduces angler fatigue. VANFORD also features 4 trickle-down technologies, from top-tier Shimano spinning reels to increase angler performance and enjoyment on the water. Infinity Cross is a gear design that nearly doubles gear durability compared to previous designs. Infinity Cross provides smooth and powerful reeling performance when battling big fish on light tackle. Constructed with innovative materials, DuraCross is a high anti-abrasion washer. This new washer improves abrasion resistance by up to 10 times over previous version. In an experiment comparing drag washers with and without DuraCross technology, there's a notable difference in abrasion on the washer's surface under identical conditions. The washer with DuraCross shows less abrasion. The abrasion resistance was significantly improved while maintaining the smooth drag feel. When targeting fish that display sudden, aggressive movements, such as smallmouth bass, DuraCross allows anglers to smoothly release the line when a fish surges and then stop the line to halt the fish's run. Infinity Drive evolves main shaft support construction design inside the reel. The inner construction of Infinity Drive provides the smooth and improved reeling performance consumers should expect from the VANFORD series, regardless of fish size. Anti-twist fin, which minimizes line trouble, is an essential feature of VANFORD. Equipped with lighter line and lures, finesse fishing presentations often result in loss of line tension. Loss of tension makes the line more likely to drop down into the lower part of spool, anti-twist fin minimizes slack to help anglers avoid issues related to line drop. Durability, anti-abrasion, power, and trouble-free performance. Performance that responds to the angler's input is significantly improved. A forward leap in innovation invites anglers to a new phase. Fast forward, VANFORD.